Okay, I know there are people flooding in still, but hey, welcome to the Lewdtubers panel, the spicy side of Vtubing. If you're rolling in and you don't know what you're in for, I'm sorry. I guess there were just that many people who couldn't get into the Dokibird Q&A, I guess. Okay, anyways, we're going to get started here now, but I'm not going to start with the slides first. I'm going to show you a video from some Lewdtubers to explain what this is in case you don't know or want to learn more. So I'm going to go ahead and play that here for you now.
Hi, I'm Gage Neumann, and I am a transgender VTuber, variety streamer, and Lewdtuber. Basically, I'm a huge nerd who loves role-playing games and enjoys being the sexiest anime mechanic on the internet.
Hey there, I'm Julian. I'm one half of VTuber duo Fluffy Arcades. I'm a skunk boy who's obsessed with fashion and outfit design. Usually I draw on stream and I play a wide variety of video games.
Hello everybody, I'm Medica Android, variety streamer with a fondness for mecha, purveyor of smut on Twitter, and aspiring Lewdtuber. I dig giant robots, tabletop games involving giant robots.
A Lewdtuber, in my opinion, is any VTuber that makes adults-only content. Most are going to have a Twitch or a YouTube channel, but they're also going to have a not-safe-for-work model and stream on adults-only platforms.
What's a Lewdtuber? Well, it's pretty much the same as VTuber, but their main content of focus is centered around adults-only and erotic content.
A Lewdtuber, in my eyes, is a VTuber that angles their content towards the not-safe-for-work crowd.
The most common forms of Lewdtuber content are going to be cam shows, adults-only game streams, or virtual meetups with fans. Depending on who you ask, adults-only ASMR or not-safe-for-work artwork could also be considered Lewdtuber content. Most Lewdtubers also solicit tips in exchange for performing specific actions or giving control of various toys to the audience.
Well, the majority of Lewdtubers would do a lewd stream, like an adult game, letting the chat use a adult toy on them, both at the same time, usually both at the same time. But others I know just kind of stream whatever and make lewd artwork or lewd audio and ASMR and that kind of thing.
Lewdtubers primarily stream on adult cam show platforms such as Chaturbate, ePlay, or Fansly. Most are going to have a Twitch or a YouTube channel for their safe-for-work content as well, and some choose to stream on more all-inclusive platforms like Joystick or Kick. As an aside, you can find my Lewdtuber content on ePlay.
Where can you find Lewdtubers? Well, it can vary depending on what they specialize in. There's places like ePlay, Chaturbate, OnlyFans, Fansly. Those are just a few of the ones that I can name off the top of my head, but there's plenty of Lewdtubers that have multiple platforms besides those ones.
Well, there's all sorts of places you can find Lewdtuber content. ePlay, Fansly, Chaturbate, OnlyFans. On Twitter, you can find plenty of people posting smutty artwork or ASMR. It's all over the place. You just gotta look.
I became a Lewdtuber mostly for fun. I've long considered myself an exhibitionist, and becoming a Lewdtuber was a safe way to express those desires. That said, I've also made a lot of lasting friendships as a Lewdtuber, discovered quite a bit about myself, and made a fair amount of pocket cash as well.
Why did I become a Lewdtuber? Well, being honest, I kind of did it because I really love drawing all kinds of sexy art. And I also just love talking about kink and all kinds of other fun stuff like that. And I figured, why not do that on stream where people can see it and like it too? And it also kind of gives me an option to be able to educate anybody who might be new to the kinks that I'm into.
So before I started streaming, I played around with Source Filmmaker, MMD, Koikatsu, because I was intrigued by the notion that I could make my own smut to suit me. And then, when I decided to take up streaming, I built my character design in Koikatsu's character editor. And about a month or so into my streaming, I put a poll up on Twitter, back when it was still called Twitter, asking, do people want to see lewd content from me? The answer was yes. I put up a naked apron render and have just kind of been going from there. And frankly, I enjoy making smut, and I enjoy the friends I've made in this community.
And finally, why did you become a Lewdtuber?
Because I'm a fucking slut.
Okay. So, like I said, this is Lewdtubers, classified Vtubing, created by me. I am Zeromaster. I am a content creator, but I'll get into more of that soon. Alright, about me. First off, this is my Lewdtuber model, and this is the best, this is the lewdest thing I can show you without ever being naked. And been a content creator since 2006. I'm the VP co-founder of the Lewdtuber Network, which is a network of VTubers who do lewd content, as well as they have their own generations like other VTuber groups. I'm part of Gen Zero, if that wasn't made apparent. And VTuber and Lewdtubers. So I do regular VTuber content as well, and I wish they had scheduled the VTuber panel I was going to do first, but they scheduled this one first. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to assume most of you know what a VTuber is. And it sounds like a lot of you do. So this is probably still going to be educational. Alright. So, what is a Lewdtuber? Well, VTuber that makes not safe for work content. Pretty self-explanatory, but there's a little more to go into it than that. Can be a variety of content types, such as lewd streaming, not safe for work audio and video, lewd images, voice acting, artwork, etc. You do not necessarily need to be a streamer to be a Lewdtuber. For a while, I didn't stream on any of those type of sites. I only made images and other content. So, yeah, you can just start working on. Where can you find Lewdtubers? Well, if any of you know Project Melody, you probably are aware of this website. Yes, that's how I discovered this website too. But Chatterbait's the basic one. It's like, I wouldn't say it's like the Twitch of porn content, but it's like pretty close. And then therethere's OnlyFans. I'm sure everyone in here knows what OnlyFans is, right? Does anybody create content on OnlyFans? Yeah, me neither. But it is the most common for finding images and videos and audio and stuff like that. Or if you want safer work content like pottery, there's pottery people on there. Don't ask me why. Fansly, this is the one that I'm more familiar with. I stream and post content on this one. It's both free and premium content, because you gotta make money somehow. But it's mostly free content. And the streams are free as well, you just have to be able to follow it. You can't make a Fansly account if if you're under the age of 18, so that's how I get around people getting the minors away from my stuff. So Fansly's good, you can stream and post content as well. And unlike OnlyFans, they don't try to own it. ePlay, this is a more common one. This is also a streaming and image sharing platform. Gage Neumann, one of the YouTubers you saw at the start, the gray-haired mechanic, she uses ePlay to do her content. It's very similar to Chatterbait, as in it uses like a token system. So, if you know what I mean, that's going to use them. Joystick. Joystick is a newer type of streaming service for YouTuber content and not safe for work content in general. It is, I've worked with them a couple of times. I don't really stream on there yet, but they are working on special integration for certain devices. So that's something that I'm very excited about. And finally, we have ManyVids. ManyVids is more commonly known for like OnlyFans, where you can produce video, image content, other kinds of content. They do have streaming, though it is not the best platform for streaming, but it's still in beta. It's got time to get better. These aren't the only platforms. There are other platforms, but these are the most common ones. So why loot streaming? Well, less restrictions on content. There is, for those of you who know anything about Twitch or YouTube, they have very strict guidelines. I mean, if you want to do not safe for work content that shows anything in the nude at all, you can't do it on those platforms. As a few YouTubers learned after they thought the rules had changed on Twitch, but we're not going to get into that right now. So your model can be naked. It's optional. Some people go on these sites and just stream regularly, but watch your model be naked, why not? The audience can control the streamer's part and get instant feedback. Yes, so for those of you who don't know, for those, I don't know how many of you are OGs, but does anybody remember a video slash stream from Project Melody called The Frickin'? That was when I first learned that you can put money in computer and then it buzzed. And ever since then, my life has been changed. So yeah, so basically, a lot of, not every YouTuber does this, not every loot content creator does this, but a lot of them do have long distance toys where you can put in money from your credit card or elsewhere, and you can play with the buttons to buzz, depending on the type of toy. You can even come. And I don't just mean the streamer, I mean the viewers too. I mean, okay, so loot images, video, and audio. So I have a couple examples here. Again, I can't show you too much saucy stuff. It's actually hard to find the stuff that I could show, so that goes to tell you. This content that I'm showing is all free, by the way, on my fans, so you just gotta follow me with that. Just, you know, just a couple of ideas. These are things I made in Koikatsu, which is a program where you can take a model and pose it. And yes, these are the ones that were tasteful for me to share. Oh, but I mentioned there's two versions of the model. There's a femboy and then a, well, it's ever heard of Michael Black? Yeah, it's that, yeah, okay. Alright, cool. Alright. How to become a Lewdtuber? And by the way, guys, I forgot to mention this. We will have open the floor up to questions at the end, so if you've got those burning, desiring questions, you're just going to have to wait. That's right, I'm edging you. Alright, so how do you become a Lewdtuber? Well, decide which kind of non-supported content you want to make. Like I said, it doesn't have to be streaming. It could be images. If you want to be a voice actor, you can do video, audio, ASMR, JOIs, if you know what those are. Yeah, there's a whole plethora of things you can decide to do. It doesn't have to be streaming, but you can also stream as well. Gathering equipment and software. This again would have been going hand in hand with the VTuber panel that is safer work than doing tomorrow in the same building, but they put this one first. So essentially, gathering equipment and software. I think we all know how streaming works. If you don't, you need a computer. You need some kind of way. You need a microphone. If you're doing console games, you need a capture card. If you are a VTuber, you need a camera or an iPhone to capture your facial expressions and put them into the computer. But beyond that, Lewdtubers also have other things, such as those devices I mentioned before, made by a company called Lewdtubers and sometimes other ones. If you don't know what I'm referring to, just Google it. Use your creativity. You do it, like I said, you can, there's lots of things you can do in this. If you're an artist, just draw your plan. Why wouldn't you? If you're a voice actor or actress, we've all watched smut before. We know what sounds they make. Just do that. There's plenty of animators also on Twitter looking for voice actors and actresses, so that's the easiest way to get into that. So that's a good thing to choose. If you want to do 3D images, you can do that too. It's just like being an artist. So And if you're not good at any of those, you can always do stream, which I'm not good at any of them, so that's why I stream. All right, so examples. Image sets. So there's a program called Koikatsu, which is what I use to make my new image sets. It is available on Steam, but I'm pretty sure the company went defunct. So I think it's, I don't want to say it's okay to sail the high seas on that one, but I think it's okay to sail the high seas on that one. So it basically lets you create a character as if it was a character creator without having to learn how to model or from scratch. It's a very useful tool if you want to make something cheap and easy. As well as, like I mentioned, artists, you can use a program like Blender, which is used for making 3D models, or even Dance, which, yes, has those type of animations available online, so there's a plethora to start with there. Audio and video, that's for voice acting, JOIs and ASMR. So if you don't know what these are, again, please Google them. I don't want to have to explain what a JOI is or a joy, but I'm sure you might know. Okay, it's jerk off instructions, okay? I said it. So yeah, and if you want examples of this, you could just go to your favorite website that's banned in Texas, P-Hub. And you just look up, you could look up anything. Older sister gets you ready for bed to Dommy Mommy Peggsy, stuff like that. You're here for pegging! Woo! Oh yeah. I'm so glad I got a clap. There's so many people who are like, pegging, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Alright, and ASMR. Does anybody not know what ASMR is? It's like the thing where you make the noises in the microphone and it goes through the headphones. I personally don't like ASMR. I find it very distracting, but people love it. So, and yes, you can make lewd audio with that. This could be ASMR. And IRL content, question mark. So one thing that's different between Lewdtubers and Vtubers, people don't like to see what their OCs look like, which okay, that's fine by me. I don't care. Before I became a VTuber, I had this all over the internet in videos. I'm not hiding from anybody, so I don't care. But there are a lot of people who are like, I don't want to show my face. That's fine. I find that with Lewdtubers, they're a little more comfortable with showing more because that brings in money, and people like money, as I've learned. Okay, so the pros of being a Lewdtuber. So it is free. I'm not gonna lie, it is free. As a gender fluid male, I can be a cat girl on the internet with a big PP and people love it. Oh yeah. So yeah. So and it doesn't. Yeah. So it's a very welcoming community because everybody likes fun. So at the end of the day, it's a wholesome community of people who like fun. You'd be surprised how loving and welcoming a community it is, and it's very free. More opportunities are opened up. So, and I don't just mean porn. Just as an example, if you stream on Twitch and you play a game that has licensed music, let's just say Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, your VOD is going to get muted, which means you have a chance to where nobody will be able to hear the audio of your recorded stream. Or you could get a content ID claim or copyright claim on either YouTube or Twitch. And if you get free copyright claims, your channel is gone. So a lot of people just don't risk playing games that have licensed music in it. But that's what's nice about sites like Fansly, they currently don't care. So if you, and so would I recommend just using your Fansly to play games that have content that will work on Twitch? Probably not. Maybe add a little bit to it, even if you gotta put like a rude image in the corner, just to make it seem like that's why we're here. But yeah, it gives opportunities to play things that you can't play on Twitch or YouTube. or other things such as one popular thing that I've done is the hentai watch-throughs or reactions. Where, in fact, soon, part of something I'm going to be doing at LTN as a project is live reactions to dubs of hentai. They're bad. So, and luckily, a lot of the members of LTN have not watched dubs of hentai. So, a lot of them are going in raw, which I'm happy about. I don't want to hook them up too much, you know what I mean? An additional revenue stream. So, I once asked my partners, is it bad that I paid for chicken wings with cum money? And the response was, no, you earned that. And as I don't want to speak for everybody, but as somebody who has been living paycheck to paycheck for the last year and a half, having a little bit extra really helps. So, like I said, most of my content is free, but I do offer stuff that's premium. And I don't even charge that much, like $5. And if you want IRL stuff, you're a real freak, that's a little more expensive, I'm just saying. If you can get like it's like Twitch, if you can get like 5 people to sub to it on a regular basis, that's a little extra money in your pocket and can help in times when you're struggling. Like when you can't afford wings on cheap wing night and you have to use the money from fans that you got to pay for them. So yeah, just to preface, it's one of my usual social things is meeting up with IRL friends and going to cheap wing night. So when I miss it, I miss one of my social interactions for the weekend. I like to have those, so I forgot. So fulfillment of carnal desires. So on Twitch and YouTube, especially now, even if you are an 18+ streamer, you gotta be kind of sweet and clean about it. You can. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but as a Canadian or in general as an Ontarian, if I can't say fuck within 20 minutes, I die. I got it. Like I'm so deep in the pain in Ontario that I have people in my family who speak hoser as their normal accent. They'll start things off with, well, fuck buddy. So yeah. So swearing is one thing, but there's some things you just can't talk about on those platforms, and on other platforms you can do whatever you want as long as you're not, doing anything that is illegal. So yeah, don't do illegal stuff. But it's also great because you can interact with your audience in a way you couldn't on other platforms. See what they're into, see what you're into. Find a medium, you know what I mean? The concept of Lewdtubers. So, unfortunately, it's not all sunshine, rainbows, and coming. There are some things. Limit the audience to adults who enjoy Nazi-for content. As I'm sure a lot of you are aware, the safe for work only VTubers have the advantage that they can have a younger audience. And so, ever since I started making content in 2006, I have always positioned my content for adults, mostly for swearing in the beginning, because I know that some parents don't like it. When my cousin, who was under the age of 18, was watching my Let's Play videos and I yelled the F word like 20 times in a row. I had a bad time, okay? Let me have this. So things like that, it limits your audience. But I've always been like, I like making content for people in my demographic. And I'm not going to get into how old I am because I'm not as young as I look, I'll just say that. But yeah, it does limit your content. Variety platforms thins out viewership, so this is a big problem in the community. So if you're a safe for work streamer or just a regular streamer or content creator, your options are YouTube, Twitch, pretty big platforms, Kick to an extent, but they're not Kick. You have options with platforms. The problem is, and the nice thing about that is they're big platforms. The problem with doing loot streaming is, streaming is coming to OnlyFans. It might actually already be on OnlyFans, I can't remember. And it's on Fansly. They're much smaller platforms compared to YouTube and Twitch. So you are going to have a smaller, more niche audience, but that's also kind of fun. So there's certain people who will follow anything I do, and then there's people who only come for the fancy streams, and I'm like, where have you been the last 2 months? They like a very specific thing from me. Little to no protection offered to safe for VTuber content creators. So what I mean is we don't have the same safeguards on those platforms. So you can, they are very similar. You can have mods, you can control things in chat, but you are more likely to get spam. There is a chance to get hate rated, things like that, which is a problem on Twitch. They've done a better job. It's not perfect, but it's a lot easier on the not safe for work platforms. The good news is usually they aren't the target of things like hate rates. That's saved for a bigger platform. So there's something nice in it being a smaller platform, but it still is a lot riskier on there. So risk of minors lying at a good age to bypass restrictions. There's a reason why Lewdtubers have to put in their Twitter bio 18 plus no minors, because it oftentimes happens enough that people try to bypass things. Now, the nice thing about Fansly, at least, is there is a verification process, so you can still get around it, but it's not as hard to. It's a lot harder to, I should say. But like, I've had people message me saying, hey, do you have a safe for work Twitter? And I'm like, nope. They're like, okay, I can't follow you. I'm like, okay, please don't. So that was one of the ones who admitted up front that they were a minor and said that they like my Twitch streams, but they can't, that they're too young to follow anything else and follow me on Twitter. And I told them, please don't follow me on Twitter. Wait till you're 18. And this has become a bigger problem because now, at least in the United States, the government is starting to get involved. I don't want to delve too much into U.S. politics because I don't know about you, but that's not my country. So, but it comes down to they want to start having it so people have to have IDs to view not safe for work content or adult content online. You have an ID system where everybody has to be ID'd by the government. And honestly, I don't want government regulation. I don't think anybody else here does. So. Hopefully there's a better solution, but this is a problem that continues to happen. So just be aware that these things can happen and just be prepared for it. And just make sure you're clear with your audience too. Because if you did everything possible to keep them out of this, runners out of the circle, then you've been doing a good job at it, and some people are just going to not listen to the rules. But it is what it is, and yeah, sorry to be a bummer, but that's the way it is. All right, so should you become a Lewdtuber? It's really up to you. If you find a thrill in certain things, if you're comfortable with putting it all out there, or if you just, I need to make some extra money this month because rent is expensive and money is tight, and I can use a program to make lewd characters do things, then yes. It's really up to you. I'm not pressuring anybody in this room, and I don't think anybody should pressure anybody about making this kind of content. But it is, I can say I'm much more confident in myself since starting doing this content than I have been in a while. It was one of the things that helped me come out, because so I've been closeted for a while, but eventually I did come out as gender fluid and pansexual. And Gage actually, who's on here, I don't want to call her out. She came out as trans when she saw that I came out as gender fluid. So it's been a positive spin on not just my life, but other people's lives. So it's fun. It can be a challenge sometimes, but if you really put your all into it, or put your heart and soul into it, then it can be a beautiful thing. And some people might come. All right, so thanks for joining us. So here's some stuff where you can find me: Twitch, Twitter, Fansly. If you want to take a picture of the screen, go ahead. We are doing a Q&A here right after this, so if you've got some questions, there's a microphone in the middle. We need people to line up and ask their questions. And here we go. These are 2 emotes I have on Twitch, by the way. Twitch approved these. But now that I've filmed this panel, they're going to unapprove them. But if anybody has a question, you just raise your hand, you come to the microphone. If you want me to elaborate on anything, that's totally fine. Or if you're just chilling and vibing. Yeah, go ahead.
Is this even on?
It's on.
All right. So I assume in your VTuber one you talk about like how like motion capture works and stuff.
Yeah. They should have put that panel here,
Okay.
but it's tomorrow at noon.
So my specific question is there any mood specific technologies like does it do penis motion capture? Is that a thing?
So
Just comment on that sort of stuff.
I'm glad you asked that. So at the start of this panel, you guys might have noticed in the intro video that you couldn't hear, there were 3 different types of VTubers. There was a 3D VTuber, a 2D VTuber, and a VR VTuber. So in the space of VR, there's now technology, 2 technologies. One of them is called better penetration, and one is called buttplug.io. Yes, these are what these things are called. And essentially what it is on certain VR applications, I'm not going to say which ones, I don't care, chat. You can get your models made to work with tracking and with the Levins toys to make the act of doing the deed have feedback. This is a thing that can happen. So if you are in a long distance relationship and you and your partner happen to have the equipment, the toys, and the tracking to do it, you can. It's a little on the expensive side, especially if you want full body tracking, because trackers are not cheap. The Vive ones are overpriced, and then when the slime ones are available, they're cheaper, but they're hard to get a hold of. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's a whole rabbit hole I could go into about VR stuff. I don't even have full body tracking yet. I'm dealing with half body, where I have the VR headset and the hands. I actually have the Oculus Quest 2, which has finger tracking, but it works kind of weird, so I don't use it that often. So, but yeah, there is options for that, and in fact, there was another Lewdtuber group I was running before I joined the Lewdtuber network, where we had some streams in a VR application where we did such things. So anything is possible. Anybody else got any questions, comments, something else? Okay. Why? But I get closer to the microphone, sorry.
Can I ask what you do on streams and
Okay, it really depends. On both regular streaming on Twitch and on fantasy streams, it's about the same time. I usually go for a couple hours, 2 to 3 maybe. Depending on how much chat wants to bully me on Fansly, I might go for shorter. Let's just say my record is 14 times, and it is not the first time someone has tried to break that record. There's a reason I took a hiatus from Lewd streaming, I was going to say that. It's not all chat's fault, there are other reasons, but it depends. Yeah, your endurance will definitely be tested, especially if you're using toys, which chat loves toys. They love knowing that they can mess with you. Especially if you're playing a game, and then they decide, oh, I will put money in the computer, and now I'm going to make you screw up. Because you're not thinking about the game, you're thinking about other things now. So, yeah, it depends what your endurance is. At first, I could not do it for very long, because Levins doesn't limit the intensity. The viewer just can put it on full tilt if they want, and that can be a lot at once. I don't need to explain to anybody about overstimulation. It's not a thing I'm into. But yeah, it really depends. So don't feel bad if you decide you want to get into this and you can only go for like an hour. the audience doesn't care. They got to play with you for that entire hour. So, yeah. I hope that answers the question. Is anybody else have any other questions, concerns, comments?
Can you have both a safe for work character separately from a YouTuber character?
Yes. My not safe for work model is, well, I have one model that I use for both, but it's, I also only use one model for not safe for work. So for example, I have, my 2D model is not naked underneath. I can't take the clothing off, because that would have cost more money, and I couldn't afford that because live 2D is expensive. And then I have a femboy model who he can't get naked either, so he's only for safe for work streaming. Mostly because my model daddy refused to program that, and I don't blame him because he does it for free because I try to pay him and he tells me, no, I don't need your money, and then he complains afterwards, hi Yoko. So yeah, we decided not to make him lewd, but I still have lewd artwork and a lewd model for images and stuff. But yeah, so people, you never would have thought about it, but I guess a lot of people started watching hentai with Bible Black. People just like futanari. Don't ask me why, but they do. And you know what? I'm happy to supply that demand. And it's 13 inches if anybody's wondering. So, you can buy it for yourself on Facebook because it's all free. Oh God, okay. I think we've got time for a few more questions. If anybody has any, or if anybody wants to have any comments, yeah, come on.
Hi. How do you integrate your virtual content with your IRL content? Like, do you put it on the same account, or do you have two separate accounts that are adjacent?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for me personally, and I find a lot of people do this, I just raise the price of the IRL stuff because I'm like, it's slightly embarrassing for me to say I have a fans league, and then people are like, oh, what do you do on there? Stuff. So personally, I just raise the price, and for some reason, people keep subscribing for that content, even though I don't post it as often. But you can have separate ones, because I do see there are some people I know who have two different personas. They have their Vtuber persona and their IRL persona, and they keep the two separate. Personally, I like keeping it all together because my Fansly has as big a following as my Twitch, because I offer the free content. So I'm like, I might as well just put it on the same page where everybody's going to. You could do whatever you want with that personally. But I just like to keep it all in one place. If you're big enough and you want to just separate it, you can as well. Or if you're just like, I just don't want to mix. I just don't want to yuck anybody's yum. I don't want to mix my peanut butter with chocolate. You know what I mean? Then you can keep them separate like that. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. So in the end, whatever you want to do. We got time for a few more questions. If anybody has any questions, otherwise we could wrap this up. Yes.
Am I allowed to ask how much you make?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's not like Twitch or YouTube where they frown upon saying how much you make. I don't make that much off of YouTube or Twitch, just a heads up. Depending on how many people subscribe to the IRL content, so let me put it this way. On Fansly, I have free content, which all you have to do is follow me like that. But then there's premium stuff, like I do video and audio stuff. The cheapest one I offer is I sell it for $5.69, and yeah, funny number, 69 yen. But I do that also because Canadian, $5 Canadian is not $5 American, and I'm like, let me get a little bit out of it plus taxes. So it just makes it easier. But so I go as low as $5.69. But you can, the more you subscribe for a month, you get a bigger discount. I think if you subscribe for 6 months, you get it half off, if I recall. Which some people do go for, and it's a nice payout right up front, but you do lose a little extra money off that. The IRL content I put right at $25, so I'm like, if you want to see it, I better get paid. So, This month, past month, I got 2 subscribers for IRL content. So that should give you an idea of how much I was making that month. But some months I don't make much. I'll make maybe like $20, $25. Because I'm more focused on the free stuff. I want people to come to the streams. The content is just a little bit extra for me. So there have been good months though, because when you stream, that adds into your monthly revenue Fansly. So if, some people say I'm too cheap. I'll give you a minute for $1. Some people will charge like at least $2, $3 for a minute, and what I mean a minute, access to control the toy. And it gets cheaper the more time that you pay for that I do. So some months, one of my more generous, I should say, followers, one of the ones who wants to break the record, who wants to be on the Hall of Fame, I guess, will sometimes drop over $100 per stream, maybe more, just so you can have that chance. And let's just say, when he's around, I become a bit of a faucet. All right, so I think we're close to finishing up here. I can maybe take one more question, but if there's no more, thank you for coming. And thank you for coming. And in the same room tomorrow, I'll be doing the So You Want to Be a VTuber panel, which will talk about how to become a VTuber. You know, what you need to know before this panel. So, okay. But tomorrow at noon in this same building, we'll be doing that panel. If you're interested, please stop by. It will. I promise it will be less money, but I can't promise I won't swear less. So that's what's going on. So thanks guys for stopping by, and have a great rest of your anime North. Take care, everybody.